Hey guys, welcome to Desi American Lens.
American Life through the eyes of a Desi. Today we're going to take you along on the journey that we went on, a little adventure, picking up our Tesla. We live in Minnesota, as you can see here. It's all snow. And we picked up our car in Arizona. We'll give you the details and backstory on why we bought one in Arizona, not in Minnesota. Check out video number 2 for that.
In video number 2, we are going to cover the features that we liked in our Tesla, the features we wish were a little different, and our final thoughts on long road trip with Tesla, whether we recommend it or not. And we're also going to share with you guys some tricks we learned along the way if you do decide to take a long road trip with Tesla like we did from Arizona to Minnesota.
And in this video, we're going to focus mostly on kind of what the experience was driving the Tesla, having never driven one before previously, but also like taking it on a long trip, driving it all the way from Arizona to Minnesota within 3 days. No idea how the charging works, no idea how the car itself works, really. So, if any of you are interested in renting one to take on a road trip, or if you're thinking about buying a Tesla and taking it on a long trip, you may be able to glean some insights from our video here today. And we were really looking forward to getting a little bit of warmer, sunshiny weather in Arizona. Or not. We flew into Arizona in the rain, and it was raining the whole day. So we got to see how the Tesla drives on wet road conditions. We got to see how the automatic wipers kind of work, and we got to drive in slush and in the snow as well up in the mountains. We even got kind of scolded by a snowplow driver who told us to turn around immediately, but us being Minnesotans, we just kept going.
Welcome to New Mexico. We just crossed into New Mexico from Arizona, and we are very excited about the sun here. This is the first time we have actually seen the sun. Know that there is sun and roads are clear. We got to try a couple different features here. We tried autopilot and traffic awareness cruise control, and it seems to work pretty well. And on day one, our goal was to make it into Albuquerque, New Mexico, and here we are. Starting day two, we stayed here in Albuquerque, New Mexico last night, and we are here at the supercharger. It's given us a best possible route from here, and it's telling us to go to Colorado. There are a couple stops there, and then into Kansas, and then Nebraska. It's just given us the best possible route based on the location of superchargers, how many miles are left on our car, on our charging, and then it's also taken into account the wait time and everything. So it's given us like a total time. One thing we have noticed is that it will give you the wait time. Sometimes it will say it's like 50 minutes that it's going to take, but I think it's taken into account. You guys know that their Tesla chargers have two ports. So I think it's assuming there are going to be cars charging from both ports when we're going to arrive at the next supercharger. But usually that has not been the case. So when it says it's going to take us about, 50 minutes or 40 minutes, it's usually taken us like maybe half, maybe even less. That's been kind of our experience with it. So far it's been good. We haven't had to wait for 50 minutes. Alright, so there is a little bit of an update. So we looked at the weather map and we got a call from Lorena's dad telling us there is a storm passing through Colorado and Nebraska and then gonna clip into Iowa and stuff. So we decided to change our route a little bit. So we are gonna take this route. Tonight our goal is to make it to Emporia, Kansas. So we're actually gonna go a little south here. We're gonna go into Santa Rosa, and then we're gonna go through the Panhandle, Texas, and we're gonna go through Oklahoma City. Weatherford and Perry are just by Oklahoma City here, and then we're gonna go into El Dorado, which is by Wichita, Kansas, and then we're gonna make it into Emporia. So our goal is to do that tonight, and we're gonna be there by 10:53 p.m.
So here's a time lapse of the car charging up at a supercharger. You can see it shows the percentage of the charge, a nice little visual of the battery, as well as the price at the bottom of the screen in real time.
And when you are on a road, you have no other option but to use superchargers, which is fine. But overall, we do not recommend superchargers for regular use. There are a couple things. First, they're spendy, and number two, they're actually not good for the battery. Welcome to the great state of
Tejas.
sun is at full bloom in Texas, and wind is spinning the wind turbines at a good speed, and we are making our way into Amarillo, Texas. At our Amarillo charging station here, we have about 30 miles left. I think that's about 11%. Yeah, that's about 11%. And yeah, we're gonna charge it here, and our next destination is in Oklahoma. Here is a setup for the Tesla superchargers. It's taking 480 volt alternating current from the grid, inverting into DC with these inverters, and pumping the direct current into the batteries.
So obviously Texas is huge, so there's plenty of drive time. We were just, I guess, clipping up through the kind of upper corner of the state, but we still got to see lots of wind farms, which was really cool, really pretty at this time in the evening. The sun was kind of starting to go down. Really cool clouds on the horizon, and so it was fun just enjoying the smooth ride in the new car, and it's nice and quiet, and just kind of enjoying the lighting and the clouds and the wind farms. And the clouds kept catching our attention because there were some kind of weird, crazy, cool looking ones here like these. I think they look like cotton candy. Big pink sky cotton candy.
And I think I agree. We just passed the sign for Welcome to Oklahoma, and this will be our fourth state on our trip from Arizona to Minnesota. And we were welcomed by rain as soon as we entered Oklahoma.
Okay, so we just came from Amarillo, Texas, or Amarillo, Tejas. About 200 miles. Let's see, we left at almost, what was it, like 90%?
85%.
85% battery. We're now at 3% battery, but we also missed our exit the first time, so we had to backtrack like 10-15 miles or so, and luckily we still had a little bit of battery left. So now we are gonna charge up here. Where are we? Weatherford, Oklahoma, and then it's on to Perry, Oklahoma, El Dorado, Kansas, and then Emporia, hopefully, if we can stay awake that long.
Yep. Car is on autopilot right now. My hands are not on the wheel at all. It's driving itself, so you guys can see there are cars on both sides. It's just keeping within that lane. It's adjusting the speed per the cars around it. Really cool. And it works at nighttime too. You know, doing it in Oklahoma. Pretty cool feature. I'll give Tesla A+ for that. Well, we finally made it here in Wichita. Today we traveled about, I think about 15 hours, 14, 15 hours, and we traveled about 700 miles on our Tesla. And we probably spent about, I don't know, 2 to 3 hours charging.
We stopped 3 times, 4 times.
4 or 5 times, I think today we stopped to charge, because we stopped in Albuquerque and then another location in New Mexico. Then we stopped in Amarillo, Texas, and then Weatherford, Oklahoma, Perry, Oklahoma, and now we made it to Wichita. So tomorrow we have about, I think, 600 miles left, maybe 580, and we're gonna try to do it in one day. And the weather is supposed to get a little nasty in Minnesota and Iowa, so we're gonna try to beat it. Well, we just got up, getting started for day 3 on our trip from Arizona to Minnesota on our electric Tesla. Let's see, we've got about 600 miles. I think online I was looking at Go Anywhere website, and it was showing me it's about 12-hour drive with all the charging time included. So we're just gonna get breakfast here and get our day started. And she's actually gonna be working from the car while I'm driving. Currently we are at 34%, and we're gonna charge in El Dorado here, and then that's gonna take us to Lawrence, which is basically Kansas City, and from there Bethany, Missouri, and then it's gonna have a stop in Des Moines, Iowa, Albert Lee, and then we should be home. Here are these Tesla charging stations. We're in El Dorado, Kansas, which is not too far from Wichita. And this is actually kind of cool because it's in the middle of the service area here. This charging station, so it's really nice. You don't have to get off or go anywhere really to charge your car. So it's kind of nice. It's like there are normal superchargers here too. So they've got some for Tesla over there, and then they've got some of these other electric vehicle ones if you got something else. So these are the normal ones. Again, we are still in El Dorado, Kansas, and those are the Tesla ones down there.
So driving conditions today were much better than last night. Last night it was like really soupy fog, really bad. But impressively, Tesla was still able to see like the cars way up ahead of us. It was able to stay in the lanes even when we had it on autopilot. Um, so that was kind of cool to test out too.
We are here in Lawrence, Kansas at a supercharger. We just charged it up. I was down to 12%, 13%, and we charged from 13% to 85% because that's the limit that I have set to. And it was about $13. So that's been kind of the average. It's, I think, 30 to 40 cents per kilowatt hour. It's been costing about $13, $14, and it will do about 200, 220 miles. Bye bye, Kansas. Welcome to Missouri. Welcome from Bethany, Missouri. We are at our second last stop. So we are in Missouri. Our next stop is gonna be in Iowa, and then we may or may not need one in Minnesota.
See this guy on the camera?
Okay.
This guy.
I can see my hand.
I can see your hands. I can see you're chilling out. And it's keeping the car in the lane. And here comes the rain again.
Yeah, here comes the rain again. We are back in the Midwest again.
Welcome to Iowa.
This is my favorite feature in Tesla. The car has a lot of sensors, a lot of cameras, and they're able to pick up cars around it and in front of it and behind it. And you can actually customize the distance, like how far do you want it to stay from the car in front of it, and you can set it with the turning wheels on the steering wheel. And it's really cool. It will keep that distance, it will maintain that safe distance, and it will stay in its own lane, but it will show you everything around it, so you can see if somebody is in your blind spot or what's happening around you. I really love it.
Okay, this is our first experience where the charger didn't work. So we're gonna try the next parking spot over.
Is it the same one that I was in? Or?
No, I don't think so.
Driving from Des Moines, Iowa, and it was telling me I don't need to stop at Dow's, Iowa. I actually charged it up to 85%, and it said, well, I can go to Albert Lee and charge it there and I should be fine. And then we just stopped by a restaurant for dinner, and we came back, put in the destination, and then it told me that I gotta go to Dow's, Iowa. So I don't again know if it's taken into account the weather conditions, because it is getting a little colder there, but not sure. But it kept, prior to us starting the trip, it was actually gonna be from Bethany, Missouri to Dow's, Iowa, and then it was gonna take us home straight, and those are all like 200-mile stretches. And this time it changed its mind, so not sure what caused it, but it, from Des Moines to Albert Lee is about 140 miles, 146. It wouldn't even allow me to do that. I mean, it will allow me, but it's recommending that I stop here and then go there, charge it before I go home. Not sure why it happened. It's kind of cool to see all those aircraft detection lights synced and blinking at the same time. It's at one of the wind farms in Iowa.
Minnesota! Snowplow? Or is
Yes, it is a snowplow.
Is it an emergency vehicle or a snowplow?
No, it's a snowplow.
Can't tell.
Yeah, it's a snowplow.
Oh yeah, there's a...
Well, here we are in snowy Minnesota. So it's already snowing, as you guys can see, snow on the ground.
Kind of slushing, actually.
It's snow and
Snow
slush.
and rain.
Yeah, we're just a little worried. We are 75 miles away from home right now. Just a little worried about ice conditions, because it's cold enough and it's raining. It might freeze on the road, so we'll see. We're gonna try to be careful and just make it home. And here she is charging, and that's the last supercharging trip for us. These are nice Tesla chargers here. They're located nicely. There's a gas station back there. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. It's right off of I-35, which is interstate, and there are some food options here. But yeah, great placement of chargers here. Here, and as you guys can see, there are no lanes. Sometimes it detects, sometimes it doesn't. And something happened in front of us.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I don't know. There's emergency going on there. Somebody is in the ditch.
Gosh, there's a lot of emergency vehicles.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're okay.
So yeah, it loses sight of
Where the lane lines are.
yeah. Life in Minnesota. Everybody's stuck behind a snowplow. It's like way ahead, like a mile or two, and the whole traffic is backed up because he's gonna clear the snow before we can drive.
Way up there.
Alright guys, it's almost 10 o'clock here, and finally made it home after driving 1,866 miles from Arizona to here in Minnesota. We finally made it home, and as you guys can see, it's really snow everywhere. So that's the kind of condition that we'll be driving this car in. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a long road trip, but I mean, glad to be home. But 1,366 miles. That was our trip that we took, and our average energy was 270 watt hour per mile, and the total energy that we spent was 503 kilowatt hours. It's actually a nice summary of our trip here. And on the top one, I was doing a little low speed because of the snow conditions, and it actually gave me a better efficiency.